Anyone who's been to CES enough times eventually asks themselves, should I make a video ranking the free tote bag? Okay, maybe that's just me. And of course the answer is no, you shouldn't, but I did. Check it out. No, the real question everyone eventually asks themselves is, what am I doing with my life? Because at CES, you find yourself in the middle of the most ridiculous and unnecessary city in the world, surrounded by the most ridiculous and unnecessary tech in the world. And yet, you're supposed to act like any of it actually matters? Now this is especially true this year for me. I'm from Minnesota. There was a lot of stuff going on at home during the show. There still is. So it was a bit more difficult than usual for me to muster up the energy to care about 50 different robot vacuums that all seem exactly the same. But nihilism aside, there were some things at the show that actually do matter. And not matter as in the home automation standard matter, which there was a lot of at CES. I mean matter as in have the potential to make some sort of positive impact in the world matter. But we, the media, we like shiny things and money, so our coverage tends to focus on the more impractical tech that makes for good television. We get caught up in showing the wow of some of the more wild things at the show that people are doing with technology without taking a step back and asking, should we really be doing any of these things at all? So today, I want to look at 5 trends that I saw at CES that, yes, they're exciting, but they also could lead to the end of civilization. But as a palate cleanser, I also want to balance that with 5 good things from the show that actually matter and might offer us a glimmer of hope that we're not all doomed. Bad AI glasses. Let's start with AI glasses. Remember when Google Glass came out 10 years ago and they were great because they looked stupid and it was easy to identify the douchebags who were using them? Well, now AI glasses are hidden in somewhat stylish frames, so you can wear them all the time without the rest of the world laughing at you. I get that there are practical uses for this at times, but on the whole, AI glasses cannot possibly be good for society. I'm not proud of it, but I'm addicted to my screens. So is my wife, so are my kids. You probably are too. And anytime we all have our phones down and we're actually making eye contact with each other and living in the present, that is a precious miracle. We should treasure that time. But thanks to these AI glasses, now, even when I'm not staring at a screen, I can still be staring through a screen. So we're never all together all at once. We should really just probably apologize to the next generation right now because they're pretty much doomed. Good. I bought eye exams. Getting a prescription for glasses is a pain in the butt. You probably have to wait a couple weeks for an appointment. You might not even have an eye doctor in your small town. And eye exams aren't even usually covered by your normal health insurance because for some reason eyes and teeth are not considered critical to your health. And to add insult to injury, you have to learn how to read. Well, the iBot takes care of all of that with a kiosk that scans your eyeballs and it determines your prescription using some sort of voodoo magic, I assume, all in under 2 minutes. Now, should you still actually go to an eye doctor every once in a while to check for glaucoma and gout? Yeah, but I love that there's a fast and easy and affordable solution for getting new eyeglass prescriptions that works on my schedule and it doesn't involve a psychopath eye doctor dilating my pupils and probing my eyeballs with a stick. Yes, they do that. I'm getting a little queasy just thinking about it. If iBot can make it easier for people to get the glasses they need, especially in underserved rural communities that may not even have an eye doctor within 100 miles, I'm all for it. Bad AI human companions. We are in a loneliness epidemic. I don't have a solution to that, but AI human companions, of which there were several at CES, cannot possibly be that solution. And I'm not talking about sex robots, which I think are also a bad idea, but probably not as bad of an idea as an emotional AI companion. Humans are a communal species. We need to interact with one another to thrive and evolve. Being able to relate to and communicate with others is an important skill to have, and it's a difficult skill for many people. I get it. Now I know you'll be shocked to learn that I used to, and sometimes still do, struggle with being socially awkward. But I'm glad I worked to improve my social skills and started like combing my hair and stuff so that I could make actual friends and eventually convince my lovely wife to marry me and make babies. Yes, human relationships are hard. You make friends, you lose friends, you fall in love, your heart gets broken, and I can see how an AI companion that is always going to be there for you and tell you how great you are no matter what you do, it has some appeal. It could sure make life less of a struggle, but struggling is important. It's how you get better. It's how you learn to live in a world filled with people who think differently and act differently. If we can find companionship from something other than people, then people lose their value. And when we stop valuing other people, we do bad things to other people. Or at least we stop caring when other people do bad things to other people. And this is something we're clearly struggling with right now, and I don't see how AI companions can do anything but make that worse. Good, AI pet companions. I know this sounds completely contradictory to what I just said, but hear me out. For whatever reason, people love pets. I have a dog. I didn't want one, but I will admit she's pretty adorable at times, and she's grown on me. Although I still regret ever letting her on the bed. Listen, I had COVID, I was isolated, I was weak, but now I can't get her off the bed. Anyways, pets are a big deal, but not everyone who wants a pet can have one. Maybe they live in an apartment, doesn't allow it, or they're too old to take care of one, or their mean mom and dad won't allow them to keep a venomous snake in the house. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Nathan. Well, fake AI pets like these from Tombot sort of fill that need. And they don't eat or poop, which is amazing. They're also surprisingly cute and realistic. They fill part of that emotional void people may feel, especially elderly and some children, without completely supplanting the need for human fellowship altogether like the evil AI companions do. Most importantly, if AI pet companions can take the place of emotional support animals on airplanes, I'm all for it. Bad. AI note takers. There were more AI listening / note-taking devices at CES than there were bathrooms, and I'm sure there were many people in those bathrooms wearing AI note-taking devices, and I'm kind of curious to see what those transcripts look like. If you're unfamiliar with these AI devices, essentially they listen to your conversations and meetings and then create a transcript of your said conversation. They'll also create notes that summarize the meetings and even create an action list so you know exactly what you need to do following the meeting. As a person with ADHD whose mind tends to wander about 6 seconds after someone starts talking to me, I was actually pretty excited about this. And I still kind of am, but at the same time, it scares me. Taking notes is actually one of the best ways for us to learn and process information. But if someone or something is taking notes for me, I'm not really learning or processing anything. And once we know that an AI is paying attention for us, we feel like we don't have to pay attention ourselves. Soon we're going to get to a point where one AI is just presenting to other AIs while everyone else in the room is just zones out in their own little world. Come to think of it, maybe it's not that different from how meetings already are, but this one requires a subscription fee. Good. Aging in place home automation. Moving a parent from their home to an assisted living facility or nursing home, it sucks. I've seen the toll it took on my parents when they did it for their mom and their dad. And my dad has already informed me that when the time comes, no matter how incapable he is of living on his own, he will still make the process as painful on us as possible. While I appreciate the heads up from him, what I appreciate even more is that there are a lot of companies using smart home technology to allow elderly to live in their homes as long as possible. Yes, they are using AI, but this is AI for good, I hope. There were a few companies at the show that offered either a package of sensors or millimeter wave sensors that detect what's going on in the house without using cameras, because a lot of people find having security cameras watching them all the time inside their house is kind of intrusive and creepy, kind of like cats. But the real key to this technology is that AI, or what they claim to be AI, it analyzes that information from the sensors, and then it will alert the adult children when it detects something it missed, like if they're skipping meals, haven't gotten out of bed, or they went outside and never came back. Just as an example, when my grandma was 95 years old and living alone, she fell outside in her backyard. She spent 5 hours trying to crawl back into her house until a neighbor saw her and helped her in. Now, of course, she had too much pride to call for help or even let us know that happened. She's pretty awesome like that. But if a neighbor hadn't seen her, she could have spent all night outside and very easily could have died cold and alone. So we actually got lucky there. But with this age-at-home technology, we don't have to rely on luck to avoid these tragedies. We just have to rely on our parents letting us spy on them with a bunch of sensors. Bad. Humanoid robots. Robots were definitely the star of CES 2026, and some of the humanoid ones were very fun to watch. Just look at them. They're dancing, they're playing ping pong, they're fighting. Wait a minute, why are we training robots to fight? How is that good for anyone? What if the robots decide they don't need us anymore? Can you beat up a trained MMA robot? Because I am confident that I cannot. Listen, we're already being told by the people leading AI development that there is a chance that AI will destroy us all. And that's not even a joke. I even asked ChatGPT, itself an AI, if it would eventually kill us all, and it point blank told me that the odds were between 1 and 10% that AI will bring about the end of civilization. Training humanoid robots to learn Kung Fu can only increase those odds. Then again, if they can fold my laundry, maybe it's worth the risk. Good. Tennis robots. Not all robots are bad. I love robot mowers. Robot vacuums have their place. But that just proves, rather than teaching robots how to kick our skulls in, we need to use them to solve real problems, like pickleball. I think we can all agree that pickleball is a scourge on the earth. Okay, maybe that's a bit harsh. Pickleball's not evil. It's just tennis for weenies. But pickleballers are taking over all the tennis courts, which is a bit of a problem for us tennis players. And that's why it was heartening for me to see multiple companies attempting to save the sport of tennis by introducing new tennis robots at CES. Pongbot had a new portable tennis machine with an AI coach that looks like an affordable, fun way to improve your game. And SwitchBot came to play with a tennis robot that actually tracks your shots and moves to catch them and fire a shot back at you. It's just like playing a real tennis partner. They even had a little tiny demo set up at the show. It was pretty cool. As a bonus, both companies handed out really nice tote bags. So have a seat, pickleball nerds. Tennis is back, baby! Bad. 24/7 wearable cameras. It's a pretty safe assumption that you're always under surveillance pretty much all the time. It's just the world we live in now. But apparently having a camera on your phone that you can access in 2 seconds, it's just not enough because multiple companies were showing off wearable cameras that you can just have recording everything all the time. Yay! Listen, I stopped looking at Facebook a few years ago because 90% of it is boring, all right? I really don't care what my friend is eating for breakfast. But these cameras are taking us even deeper into who gives a crapistan by documenting your entire day, then creating an AI summary of your day that you can post for all the world to see. Isn't that great? No, it's not. We don't need to make it easier for people to share the most boring parts of their lives with the world. If I were king, I'd limit everybody to a maximum of 2 posts per week on social media. The world would be a lot better place. Not with me as king. I'd be a terrible king. I'm just saying if people posted less mundane garbage on social media. But if you're wondering, I had Cheerios for breakfast. Good. Smart fire prevention. Did you hear about the latest in fire prevention tech? Probably not, because safety tech is pretty boring. But it's probably the best place for us to be investing in technology, except for tennis robots, of course. To my surprise, one of the most interesting conversations I had at the show this year was with the founder of FireVert, which is a device that automatically shuts off your stove when your smoke alarm sounds. The device has been around for a while, but now they have a version with Z-Wave, so you can get notifications and do other things like automate the stove to shut off when everyone leaves the house, or shut off when someone's making disgusting meatloaf. Again, not an exciting product, but considering 70% of house fires start in the kitchen, it's a product that's definitely worth knowing about, especially if you have an elderly parent living on their own who may have memory issues, or maybe you have a husband with ADHD who might occasionally start to heat up a pan for dinner, then get lost in a sudden quest to find out how the state of Maryland got such a goofy shape. I mean, did you know that the border between Maryland and Pennsylvania was disputed for almost 30 years in the 1700s? Pennsylvania and Maryland even had their militias meet in armed conflicts a couple times. Several horses died. Anyways, it is heartening to know that there are still some people out there spending their time to make boring products like FireVert that keep us safe, while most of us focus our attention on the whiz-bang tech products that might eventually kill us all. And on that note, let's talk tote bags.